Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignertechtips.com. Well, we've been showcasing a great plugin for Divi. It's called Divi Image Hover Effects, and they've got some marvelous effects here. Really easy to use. I think there's over 250 of them or so, and they've got it on sale at the moment for $15. It's reduced from $50, which is a great saving. But Divi's come a long way recently, and with a little work you can achieve some of these things just using the inbuilt features of Divi. Don't get me wrong, I bought this plugin, I'm really happy with it, I'm going to use it a lot. But sometimes, especially on other people's sites, you might just want to build your own. So we're going to build this today, and it's a sort of image with a title, and when you hover over it, up comes some content with a nice border around it. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do today is enable the Visual Builder. Okay, once loaded, let's go down to where we want to work. I'm going to go right here today, next door to the one I've just done, and we'll sort of duplicate it. I've got a row with 2 columns in it. To make these hover effects that I'm building here work, we're usually putting an image in the column and then putting a module on top of it and making it sort of fade in and out to get our effect. So let's go into our row, and I'll put an image in the column. Just hit the little cog to go into the row. We're working on column 2, that's column 1 right there, so we're on column 2. Let's move this over so we can see. And I want to give it an image background. So when you go into background, you've got color, gradient, image, or video. I'm going to use an image. And I'll use the same one as I used before for expediency, which is that one. Decided I want a fairly dark image purely because that way we can put light colored text over the top of it. Now you're not going to see anything when I do this because at the moment that column has no height. So when we put something in it, you'll see it. So save and save again. And now let's add our module. First thing I'm going to do is put that little title in there. Divi comes as standard with all these modules with the exception of that one, which is the Divi Image Hover Effects plugin I just showed you. So let's add a text module and put a little title in there. Or whatever it is you want to put in yours, obviously. As you can see, now we put something in there. You can't see it very well, but the column's starting to get a bit of height so you can see that image behind it. So let's just go over to our text and we'll edit. And I guess I'll use that same purple color. We'll put it in the middle. Let's roll down a little bit. Put it in the middle. Make it quite a bit bigger. And let's make it uppercase and bold. Okay, so you can sort of see it there with the little image in the background. Let's give it a little bit of padding on the top and push it down a little bit. So we'll go down to space. And let's just say, we'll give it 50 on the top and see how we do that. We might want to move it in a little while. Okay, so there's my title right there. Now I want to put something underneath it. So save my changes. I'm going to add another module. And again, I'm going to go down and put a text module in there. You can put a blurb, you can put pretty much anything else you want in there. If you want a button, put in a call to action module. In fact, for a bit of fun, let's put a call to action module in today instead. There's our call to action. Don't want a title. Click here on the buttons, fine. As you can see, there's no button at the moment because we haven't put a link in. Content I'll leave just as it is there. I don't want a background on there, at least not at the moment. There we go. Now let's go on down, or go on back up I should say, and put a little link for the button. I'm just going to put a hashtag in. Now if you want the whole module to link to something, then you can put a link in here also. I'm just going to leave mine on the button. That's absolutely fine to me. Okay, what I want to do is I want to put a border around this whole thing, and I want to include that title that's up there as well. So let's do that. Let's go on down to border, or we're on the content. We need to go to the design tab, down to border. Don't want any rounded corners. I will do all 4 sides. Let's say about 3 or 4 pixels. It's actually there, you can't see it. I'll change the color. There we go. And it's right there. It's on the bottom and it's on the sides there. But of course you can't see those because it's white on white. So I want to push the whole thing in a bit. What I'm going to do is do that with a bit of margin. So let's go in and do the spacing. We're going to use margin. Not going to do the top right now. You'll find out why in a minute. I'm just going to get 30 pixels and 30 pixels left and right. Just put in the 30, it'll put in the pixels for you. As you can see, that's pulled it in a little bit. And now we need to adjust it so that we're capturing that title. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a bit of padding on the top. I'll try 100 pixels and see how we get on with that. Now if I scoot this whole module up, because there's no background, we should be able to get that title in there as well. We may need to pull this title forward, we'll see. So to scoot it up, I need to put some negative margin in there. So we'll say minus 100, try that. A little too much. Now we know we got 30 around here, so let's take off 30, let's say minus 70. It's almost there, that's pretty much there. Okay, that's good. So we've got everything we need, but that's okay, I can read it, but it's not crystal clear. It sort of gets lost around these light bits in the photo there. So what I'm going to do while we're still in this call to action is go back to the content, go down to background. I'm going to add a background color. Now I don't want it to be blanking everything out like that. I want it to be able to see the image pretty well through there. So I'm going to click on the color, take the opacity or transparency down to a spot where we can still read the writing really well, but we can see a lot of the image, a little less than that. There we go. Still see the image behind there, but we can read that writing an awful lot better. Great, so that's shaping up. If you want to custom style your button, you can do that in the design tab. I'm going to leave mine just like that for expediency. Just go into your button, flip that on for custom styles, and decorate it how you will. Okay, well, let's make the magic happen. What do we want to do? Well, when my mouse is not hovering over it, I don't want to see the content or the button. I just want to see the image and the title. And then when we hover over it, I want that to fade in. So let's do that. Again, in the design tab, we're going to go down to filters. And if anybody else has watched any of my other hover videos, I'm sure you know what I'm going to do here. We're going to go down, we're going to go to opacity. And this is common with most Divi modules. If you go into a module and roll over the dark legending, you'll see some icons there. If you roll over one and it's got a little arrow there, it means you can set a hover state. Desktop is when your mouse is not on it. Hover, funnily enough, is when your mouse is on it. So when my mouse is not on it, desktop, I want it to be completely invisible. Then when my mouse rolls over it, I want it to become visible, 100%. So that's great. I got the desktop set to 0 and hover set to 100%. Now the time it takes to actually do this, to go from invisible to visible, by default in Divi is 300 milliseconds, a third of a second or just under, which is pretty quick. I like mine to be a lot slower than that for drama purposes. So let's go over to our advanced. Go down to transitions, transition duration, and there you can see the default 300 milliseconds. I'm going to slide mine up to around a second, or maybe even a little bit more, say 1200. Put yours wherever you wish. You can fine tune it with the little arrows there, and you can also type in the value if you prefer. Don't want any delay. I want it to happen as soon as my mouse goes over the top of it. But the speed curve I'm going to use is ease in out. Now, I tend to use this for most of my zoom effects, or hover effects I should say. The other ones that are on there are great in different circumstances, so play with them. They're sort of subtly different, but I like the ease in, ease out. So if we've done everything correctly, this should all work for us now. Let's save our changes. Save the page changes. And exit the Visual Builder. Okay, let's have a look at our little thing. And there we go. I see one little thing that's going on there. Everything's working fine. We can see the title and the image. When we hover over our content and our call to action buttons popping up there, and it's taking 1.2 seconds to do so, it's easing in and easing out, which is great, but title, it's sort of fading out. And I'm pretty sure you realize why that is. It's because it's being covered by the opaque dark background we put in this module here. Now to fix that, we can change the Z index on it and pull it forward. So let's do that. Back into the Visual Builder, back into our little module. In fact, we need to go into the title for this. Now, because we've pulled this one up, you may have trouble getting into the one that's behind it, which is the title. To fix that, we can go into wireframe mode, little icon right here. There we are. There's the top one, there's the bottom one. We can go into the top one. Now we're in there, we can flip it back to desktop again. And let's go over to advanced, and we'll go to visibility. And what we're going to need to do is go down to position and bring the Z index slider up. Probably don't need to bring it up too much. It really doesn't matter if you bring it up a lot. I'll try that and see how we get on. Looks like it's going to work. But sometimes within the Visual Builder, as with the transition duration, things don't show up as they do on the front end. Let's exit the Visual Builder. Now let's take another look. Yeah, that's fine. It's no longer fading out, which means it's on top. And like I say, you probably don't need to slide that Z index up too much to make this happen. But that's the way to fix it if you find it underneath there. So there we have it. There is how to add an image with title, and when you hover on it, you've got some context with a call to action button. And that's a nice little feature to have on your site. Somebody's rolling around your site and they come across that, it's going to get their eyes on it pretty quick. So I hope you've enjoyed that and found it useful. If you have, please ring the bell, give it a thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.